Everybody, welcome back to Chicago Car Club. Today we're going to be showing you around this awesome 1967 Sunbeam Tiger. This is considered a Mk1a. It actually somehow is connected back to me personally, as this car was my father-in-law's driver's ed teacher, believe it or not. This car sat in a small town in southwest Michigan its entire life. It was purchased new from Camp's Cars, which was out of Midland, Michigan. It was a new car dealer there. The car was titled when it was purchased in '69. Our understanding is the car was a dealer car that didn't sell right off the bat, and it was picked up the following year. We're going to take you around and show you everything we see. This is a very largely original car, down to the wheels being date stamped. We've done our best to decode absolutely everything that we can on it, and we want to take you around and make you comfortable and confident making a purchasing decision here. So if there's any comments or questions, likely people watching this will know more about these cars than we do. We don't claim to be absolute experts. We just try and be as transparent as humanly possible when showing you around these things. And a lot of times we're learning as we're decoding and working through these cars. So we encourage you to reach out, call or text us anytime at 312-420-3696. This car did benefit from a repaint. We believe it was within the last 20 years. It shows quite nicely. Again, we've got original date stamped wheels. The beauty rings and the dishes are there. It's got a new set of tires on it. We elected to keep these wheels because we found this car stock and we want to keep it just the way we found it. It does have an aftermarket hood scoop from what we can see. There's very few blemishes in the paint. They've been touched up and appear to be cleared over. There's probably only 3 or 4 that we could spot. One was right there by that headlight bezel. All the lights, bumpers, trim, hardware, super good condition on it. This car sat inside. In fact, most people in the small town it came out of didn't even know it was there. So when this car was sold through the estate, a lot of people from the town were there, including my father-in-law, and had never actually seen the car. So pretty neat little time capsule here for sure. The body lines and panel fitment on the car is really good. Everything lines up as it should. Everything closes and opens nicely. There's no binding or anything like that. And as you can see down here, the car is super solid. We even got so far as to remove both of the saddle fuel tanks, and down in the bottoms of the rockers, in the bottoms of the quarter panels was nice and dry back there. So this car clearly spent its life inside. It shows inside and out, and we're going to just take you around and show you everything. We've got an original top on the car, which you'll see later in the video. It appears to be all the original fabrics, including the tonneau cover and the soft boot cover. Factory, it may be a new old stock exhaust system on there, but you can see here these lights are all Lucas lensed, tail light covers. Again, the paint shows really, really nice. We simply polished and waxed it. We didn't even go so far as to buff it. So this car was covered in dust when we found it, but it was clearly very well cared for over the years. It is the original engine. We decoded it as far as humanly possible. It does predate the build date of the car, and we were told by the family that this was the original motor. Nothing had been changed on it. So under the hood looks largely original. A couple little things I'm sure replaced. It looks like the alternator might have been replaced at some point, but interior, all original carpets in it, still with the snaps. The door cards appear original, in really nice condition. The car shows 21,000 on the clock. I can't argue it based on the interior. The seats are in nice shape. It's got seat belts. Everything's consistent front to back. It's got this added Sony slide in. It's a removable transistor radio. It's kind of incredible. We opted to leave it in the car along with the CB radio that was installed. Little nostalgic pieces there. These are the sun visors that actually are spring-loaded, can be put in and removed. We've left them out for now. but they are with the car. And as you can see, everything's nice and tidy under the dash. The dashboard's in great shape. It's got its original snaps and hold-down pins for the tonneau cover. And same thing on the driver's side here. Door card's super clean and nice. There's no excessive wear on it. Again, the car was repainted. It looks like they did a very nice job on it. Only a couple little spots we can find where there might have been a little bit of overspray or things like that, but it looks like it was done properly. Most parts were removed off of it, inside the jams and everything. This is its original Carnival Red with black vinyl interior. We believe, I see no reason why these aren't the original carpets, just based alone on the snaps that are in place on them. They just look like something that were factory original. There's two gauges, Stuart Warner gauges, that were replaced. You see the battery voltage there on the left, and then you'll see in the center of the dash there's a vacuum gauge. They're actually really cool vintage gauges. Stuart Warner makes some cool stuff, so we decided to leave them in there. We do have the emblem placards that would go in those holes that'll go with the car. Original shifter, original steering wheel, just tons of originality here, which is really cool. We'll pop the hood here, show you underneath. Again, we date coded this motor back. It's got the original valve covers on it, and from everything we can tell, it's the original motor. Inside the back, the original floor pan, I guess you'd call it that cover that hinges up. The cardboard placards are still intact. And in the well back here, nice and solid and dry, we've got the tool kit with the jack. The spare wheel is date coded to match the others, it's 66. And again, that closes nice and crisply. It lines up really well. So under the hood, 260 V8. We rebuilt the carburetor completely. It runs beautifully. It fires up on cold start really well. Idles nice and smooth. Makes good power. It is an absolute blast to drive. We put plug wires, plugs. We changed all the fluids in the trans, rear end, engine. We did the braking system front to back. Rebuilt the Girling master on both the clutch master and the brake master. We repiped the clutch master line and rebuilt the slave cylinder as well. It's got the correct brake fluid in it, which is important for these Girling systems. And all of the oils and stuff we use pen grade on the trans and rear end, so we're confident with that. We'll fire it up here. It runs really well. It doesn't smoke. It sounds nice out the exhaust. Keeps a nice temperature. It runs just the way you'd expect. We have the original title, like we said. We have the original purchase identification, which is filled out from new. We have the original owner's manual. It's a little deteriorated. It might have gotten wet at some point, but we do have it protected now, along with a shop manual and even the original brochure from Chrysler, which is pretty neat, and it's in perfect condition. We have years of registration paperwork. Again, we have the toolkit in the back, and rev that up a little bit. The build date on the engine is 5K14F, which decodes to November 1965 of a build date, which is a numbers matching from the valve cover to the body. And as far as we can tell from removing the starter, this motor decodes as original to the car. Again, it was paint color was 39, which was Carnival Red. And this was a left-hand drive Roadster non-standard, they called it. Take it for a ride. Clutch feels great in it. Show you everything works here. The blower motor works. The bias for the temperature and the heater work nicely. The wipers work. All the lights work. And this is a car you can hop in and drive. It is absolutely fantastic. really pleased with how smooth those are right there, because oftentimes that's the first thing that sticks. The CB radio powers up in case you want to mingle with some truckers on the road. The Sony transistor radio does not power up. I don't know if it's a power issue to the unit or if there's something further in the unit that needs fixed, but we haven't dug into it at all. All the toggle switches feel really good in the car, and as you can see here, it drives beautifully down the road. It tracks nice and straight, doesn't pull one way or the other, it doesn't wander. It feels like the alignment's really nice on it, and under braking it's nice and straight. It's got new pads, new rotors, new caliper pistons, rebuild kits all the way around. We went through and made sure everything is up to snuff on it. It's got some new flexible brake lines that we bought from Sunbeam Specialties. As you can see, the dash is really nice. The Smith's gauges are great. This car is just consistent front to back, which makes it extra special for us. We'll hop out and show you the top on it. We have it up right now. And as you can see, we believe this to be the original top. I mean, certainly from the inside with the strapping that runs down the center, I see no reason to believe it's not, and it's very consistent with the tonneau cover that we have, as well as the boot cover. So the back glass is a little yellowed. We didn't polish it or do anything to it. So, and this little front leading edge there on the sill plate up top, the rubber is pretty dry on it, but we anticipate most people enjoying this with the top down, but it's always nice to get it up and show you what we're looking at. We'll get the car up in the air here and just show you some good shots of the underside. You can see nice and solid. There's not a spot of rust on this car, and the paint shows really well. We have the front license plate bracket, which we pulled off for pictures, which bolts right there on the lower valence. Nice and straight, no dents or dings, only, like I said, just a couple little chips, rock chips here and there. But all in all, this is a show-ready car for sure. It's got a stock NOS, I believe, exhaust system that's had some custom pipes bent to mate to the headers there. Runs through the frame rails, looks really nice. It sounds really good. It's got new shocks all the way around. New rear brake lines were bent, and looks really nice underneath. Super solid. He reinforced the X section of the frame, which I think was a pretty common spot for rust. We can't tell. I can't determine whether or not it was a rust repair or he was just reinforcing it. My understanding is a lot of people just reinforced them or plated them. But the weld looks nice. The job looks good on it. And we're happy with it. Again, new tires inside the wheel wells there. Sprayed, looks really nice. And then we'll show you the tonneau, which is nice and taut on there. Took a little bit of stretching to get it on, but the zippers move freely and nice, and we've got this original documentation there. You can see the vehicle and purchaser identification, which is the Mayhack family, which we bought it from. That's the original title, which normally you wouldn't get back, but this car is so old, they just replaced the title and let them hold on to it. As always, we encourage you to reach out with any questions or comments. We can be phoned at 312-420-3696. 312-420-3696. Thanks for looking.